Our next guest was one of the world's greatest daredevils, more than 20 years, electrified everybody with his tremendous jumps and stunts. He's thrilled audiences with spectacular jumps like this one over 13 English buses in 1971. And now fans can relive his legendary death-defying stunts on video. Here's Evel Knievel. Nice to have you here, Evel. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
We were talking about the old days, and Kathie reminded me that you have broken every bone in your body.
Well, apparently that's not true. 37 of them, but that's enough.
37 bones.
But there's a lot of publications that said I broke everything, but that goes to show you can't believe
everything you read.
No kidding.
You know, my dream really was to jump the Grand Canyon, but because of Joey Bishop, God bless him, and Regis, I did their show out in Los Angeles probably 14 times.
Yes.
And you and Joey both helped me through my argument with the United States government and the Navajo Indian tribe. And
they were trying to prevent that jump from taking place.
Well, they gave me written permission to do it.
Yeah.
Stuart Udall did, who was the Secretary of Interior.
Right. Yeah.
And then the government brought a restraining order against me, so I had to make different arrangements to jump the Snake River Canyon. I haven't seen you in quite a while. The last time we saw each other was at the Essex house.
That's right, yeah.
You were getting on an elevator, and you kept looking at me, and I knew it was you, but you didn't know who I was, and he kept looking around the elevator, and he kept looking. He says, well, all right, what are we going to do, play games? You know
what I said?
So I said, well,
what a wise guy I am.
Mr. Charles.
I said, by the time you get to the 40th floor, you'll remember who I am. And I no more got in my room, and the phone was ringing. He said, Evel, this is Regis.
Oh, that's funny.
What was the most difficult jump for you to make?
The Caesar's jump.
Evel, when I think of that jump.
That was in 1969. I opened Caesar's Palace. I was the first performer they ever had there outdoors. And I broke my left femur and crushed my pelvis, and I was unconscious for 30 days.
Unconscious for 30 days.
When Frank said that before you jumped this Wembley Stadium, 13 buses, you went there the day before, and you said, Frank, I can't do that. That's true, right?
The gearing that Harley-Davidson had sent over to me was not the right gearing.
Oh, that's the reason why.
And it was too far.
Then why didn't you say, let's postpone it, and we'll wait till we get the right gearing here?
Well, there was 108,000 people there. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think they would have understood. No?
And it was election year, and I got out there and said...
oh, this is what got you in big trouble.
Yeah, I said, I know half of you are communists carrying card carriers, and I'd like to have you vote to keep the mother country free. And half of them booed and half of them cheered, and I got off at the jump, and I went back to Frank, and he was laughing. He said, boy, that was more dangerous than making the jump.
He also said if we hadn't helped you, I could have been jumping for the Germans. Yeah. Remember that?
Speaking of rockets, Regis, this is my new Evel Knievel Collector Series cigars.
Collector Series. Wow, look at this.
They're made by Swank Cigar Company in Ybor City, Florida, and I'd like you to have them for your collection.
These are rocket cigars,
That's right.
The artist.
Look at this right over here.
Kathie Lee.
This beauty. Quite an artist, Evel, you
Kathie
are.
Lee, I've painted ever since I was a little boy, and I did that of Mother Teresa when she won the Nobel Peace Prize off the cover of Time magazine, and it's a watercolor. You'll notice how transparent it is, but I painted all of the red that you see in that in my own blood.
Really?
I was just taken by her so much. I don't know why. I just felt that she was such a wonderful saint. I don't like, for the most part, 99% of the preachers that are on television that are begging for money and how it's misused. But there was a woman who was a true, wonderful spirit, and I think that I think we've lost a great person.
Oh, we all agree.
Sure have.
Thank you for that.
We'll be right back.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
The third time the movies have made that story. It's a terrific story as well.
And you're going to be opening up a new restaurant in Vegas called Evel Knievel's
Daredevil Cafe.
Daredevil Cafe.
And it's going to have a fantastic ride in it where you actually get in a rocket. It seats 60 people, and it fires you into the sky at 11 Gs, and you go right into the middle of the Snake River Canyon. When you hit the water just splashes right in your face.
Be sure to take that after you have your chili and cheese burger. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. Now, this is the Wembley Stadium jump back in 1975. Were you nervous about this?
Yeah, very nervous.
You get nervous about all of them,
He knew he couldn't do it. So going into that,
all
can you
right,
imagine?
go ahead, roll it. Let's take a look.
Gearing was a little slow. unconscious.
Were you?
I didn't. I regained consciousness after Frank picked me up. Frank and John Daly they picked me up and helped. I said, I walked in here, Frank, try and help me walk out. And, he did.
Who insured you in those days?
Nobody did. In fact, I've been uninsurable. I'm probably the most uninsurable celebrity in the world. And now I open a Hollywood Reporter ad out in Los Angeles in another publication. And Fireman's Fund Insurance, which is a large insurance company, they're running a picture of me in their advertising saying, inferring to the public, that they are insuring me.
And they're not.
I can't believe that. Why would they do something like that?
I don't know.
Here it is, folks, the last of the gladiators. Some of the great jumps you'll ever see. Evel, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
More to come on Live in a moment.